Hello, in this video, we're going to walk through the process of creating a multi-layered green screen. Essentially, it's a green screen, and within that green screen is another green screen, and within that one is another one, and maybe even another one inside of that. And if you know how to do a green screen, it's fairly simple. You just key out the green, and then that allows you to put another layer underneath, and then that other underneath layer will show up. However, this process is a little bit more complicated than that. It's not actually complicated, but there's a few steps that we have to do with positioning and with scaling of each layer so that we get the right effect. So this is a little bit more than just putting one layer on top of another and calling it a day. We're going to actually position and scale each layer so that everything looks just right, exactly as we want it. So the first thing I did, and I've already done this, is I make sure that I have, let's do 4 video layers. So I essentially adopted my text layer, made it a video layer, and then added 2 more. So I've got 4, and then I dragged my screen up so that I can see everything. You may or may not be able to drag your screen up, but you definitely can add the extra layers. Then we go down to green screen. We clicked on video already. And what I want to look for first, let's click see all. I want to look for a green screen that's nice and big and is not covered up by all sorts of things. So when I look at all these different green screens, like I don't want a background green screen. I want one that has people in it, maybe doing something or watching it, and then I can, inside of that, add something else, and inside of that, add something else. So, and essentially as we go through the process, the green screens get smaller and smaller. I actually kind of like this one right up here. This, you know what, let's do this one here. I think this is a movie theater. So let's put this down here. Yeah, so we've got people watching this movie. So I can add stuff to this green screen. All I have to do, of course, is double click the layer, click on keying, click on the little eyedropper, and oops, I clicked off of it. There we go. And then that keys out that green, and then I can go to done. And there we go. So now whatever I put underneath here is going to be a layer that I can see through. So now in this movie theater, let's put this board meeting. So I'm going to drag this board meeting down like that. And so I see this screen here, and that's great, but I want to make sure that I get the most out of this. So first I'm going to just go ahead and double click. We may as well key out the green already. Click this, key out this green, and then we'll click done. But what I want to make sure of is that this is positioned in the best possible way. So again, I'm going to double click this again, and I'm going to click on the scale, this little dot, and when I do that, I can manipulate this so that there it doesn't quite cover the screen. I want it to cover a little bit more than the full screen, but not a whole lot more. So this started out, actually, like there. Well, it started out in a different size. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm looking at these dots here. And I can also grab these dots and kind of pull them. So basically what I want to make sure I have is that the layer underneath is just a little bit bigger than the layer on top, the green screen part of that layer. So now I have this one right here. So I can go ahead and click done. So I've got this green screen on the green screen. So now we can add another one. So what's going to be inside of this one? Let's add one that's a little bit smaller. Let's add this lady here that's holding her. You know, that's not very long of a clip. Let's find something a little bit longer. We want to get close to 15 seconds. This 13 seconds might do. This one here is about 10. So we'll go with this 13-second deal. We'll make this a 10-second clip. So there I've got Santa in there, but look, Santa's barely visible. So I'm going to double click on the scale like that, and then I can scale Santa down. And it's actually easier to use these little guys here because I can scale Santa down just like that. There he goes. Now I can go to keying, and I'll key out that green on Santa's screen. There we go. And I can click done. And let's get one additional layer. Let's see what I want to get for the final layer. And maybe Santa is showing this 27 seconds, 23. I can always cut these down. 7 seconds. I'll find one. Let's see. Well, let's just go with this one right here. It's 11 seconds, and these are these. Well, no, let's go with this one right here. Santa's showing this phone. So that's inside of this guy here. So again, let's double click. I'm going to click on the scaling dot. That's going to show up these little things here. And I'm going to make this, move it over so I can see what's being held. But again, remember, I want to make sure that this box is a little bit bigger than what Santa's green screen is. There we go. Now I can key out this last green screen. Oops, let's key out the last green screen. Here we go. Very small. There we go. And so I'm going to just add one more thing that's just below that. So I really need to then add another layer. So let's just add one more track, another video track. And let's do this. Let's grab all of these, pull them up one. And we're going to add one more thing down here. Let's just go to videos. I'm not going to add a green screen on this one. I'm just going to add let's add a person. Why not? And so this lady's looking at this girl here in her phone. So let's just position this girl in the phone. And here, what I might want to do is increase the size of my window, if I can. Well, maybe I can't. Either way, we'll double click this, and we'll just be very careful with our scaling, because I want to make sure this person here is in there. All right, I just got to make it really, really small. There we go. Now I can see those dots. I can see her face in the phone, make it even smaller. So maybe you don't want to make your last one this small, but now I've got her in that phone. There we go. That looks perfect. Nothing to key out there. Click done, and voila, I'm done. I've got green screen and a green screen and a green screen and a green screen. So follow that process. Doesn't take very long at all. This one here is about 10 seconds. So what I'm going to do is make everything the same length as the shortest one so that it all kind of works. I'll throw a quick audio layer underneath and it will be all done. So that's all you got to do. Good luck.